women's empowerment is the ability of women to take control of their own lives, set their own agenda, build skills, empower themselves, gain more self-confidence. It's not really only a social, political, or economic endeavor, but rather a continuous development of the self. It's a continuous process. So an empowered woman, we see empowered women as the one who are able to voice out their concerns. They are really the ones who can take good care and they can take charge of their own lives. They are the ones who are able to empower and inspire as well other women. And the best example of such a woman is sitting right here next to me, Ms. Joelle Aboufarhat Rizallah. She is the one who has been empowering women since 2012, when she was the co-founder of Women in Front, and she really empowered many, many, many women across all of Lebanon. And now she really set the higher standard when she is claiming for 50-50 with her new NGO, and she is also the co-founder of 50-50, this NGO where she is asking for social, economic, and political justice for women. And you know, you are most welcome here, Joelle.
Thank you so much.
You know, my question here, I'm going to start straight with my question. What is the current situation of women in Lebanon, and how did it change over the past few years since you started in 2012, and where do you want to see her?
Yeah, I'm going to answer this, but I would like to mention one point you raised in your introduction. It's very important that women, a woman to be really bold and empowered and strong. But this is not enough if you don't have the right environment to include the women. So an inclusive environment, especially in politics, is basic and is fundamental for women to be able to get engaged into politics.
Yeah, sure.
Because if you have, I mean, if you don't have the environment and she's empowered, then she cannot be in politics,
but
as we have seen in Lebanon. But don't you think that if
we have so many empowered women, like you started with this wave, you know, it was an old wave, however, it was interrupted so many times in our lives. But when we started, you started with Women in Front in 2012, and this wave of women moving, you know, towards decision making in the country, and still the environment is not inclusive.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
so we are really struggling. I understand that. However, it takes also a powerful woman to go in that.
Absolutely,
in that
this is part of it, definitely. But this is why today in Lebanon, unfortunately, we have a very bad situation. Today, unfortunately, we are in a very bad situation in Lebanon. So the result, definitely, of having 6 women in a cabinet of 20, which is 30%, is definitely the accumulation of all the work that has been done, for the past maybe 20 or 30 years. We only, as Women in Front, started in 2012, and today as 50-50, we've been working for the 9 past years to empower women and have more women in politics. And we haven't achieved yet at least 30%.
Yeah.
So it's very important to know that this is a very long fight, and especially in Lebanon, where we still have a lot of barriers, you know, hindering women from reaching political positions.
What do you think are the strategies that should be taken by, I don't know, civil society, by the people of Lebanon, by the, I don't know, if any concerned people in the government, in politics, what are the strategies that should be followed so that we can bring this kind of change that we aspire for our country?
Absolutely. We are working, and we will continue to work on 4 main points. The first one would be a national strategy that will include everyone, all parties in Lebanon, the government, civil society, to work towards, you know, enhancing the position of women in politics, and at all levels, definitely, but mainly in politics, because this is, and the parliament precisely, this is where is the power, and this is where we can change all the discriminatory laws against women. Secondly is working on the bylaws of political parties to include quotas. I have to mention that the top, let's say, title or headline of the strategy must be definitely implementing the quota by at least 33% in the parliament to start with the 33%, and it could be 50% in local elections in municipalities, for instance, or in appointed council like the cabinet or our government. So secondly, as we said, working with political parties to assess their bylaws and find solution on how we can help women to reach top positions. The third point is creating awareness, especially in rural areas, because we need also to show why it's better to have women in politics, why it's better to see women working in public life. And definitely this is important because all the agenda would change when you have women in politics. And finally, the fourth point would be working with men on empowering as well their environment, on being more, I would say, supportive as well for women, and to be able to instate equality at all levels. We're aiming for a 50-50 everywhere in Lebanon. This is the normal, I think, target to reach.
Joelle, as me being an expert in political sociology, I get really frustrated with the fact that when we speak to politicians, they only say words and they give us promises, and they would say, yes, we do support women, and it's never translated in reality. And when we see elections and we see appointments, we don't see women, we don't see them there. Don't you think that there has to be some sort of drastic measures that should be taken?
Absolutely.
I mean, there has to be something that I don't know. Sometimes I feel, helpless and very frustrated that I want to see that change. I want to see women there. I want to see also, because we have really very strong, capable women who you can see them in their category, in their work, in their workplace. They are very successful and they bring change. Yeah. So it's really frustrating for us. It's very important that since that this what we're doing now, maybe it's going to be communicated outside Lebanon. I want them to see the real fact of the Lebanese woman. Yeah. That what is the situation of the Lebanese woman.
Now, I'm going to tell you what's the solution, absolutely, I mean, beside what we have said. But let me tell you also, beside that, although we have today a very bad situation in political representation of women in Lebanon, however, we have been able to succeed to do maybe small successes. Like in 2018, we have been able, by working with women, to increase the number of candidates from 12 women in 2009 to 113 in 2018. And this is a historical achievement. Yeah. And this helped a lot in changing the status quo of women and the rhetoric, But still, if we talk in a different way, it doesn't mean it has been done. This is why it's very important to work on the law. We need a quota to be included in the electoral law, to be able to get women and to make sure that we have women on board.
It's the only way.
Once, we have our election in 2 years, I hope, and this is really a chance for us, for Lebanese, to be able to vote for women.
It's been said that or probably this is the counterattack on us, saying that if you ask for a quota, it means you are undermining the role of women. What do you think about that?
Yeah. First of all, the quota, it has been stated by the UN, by the Convention of Beijing and CEDAW. So it was the only way for women, to make further steps in politics and at all levels, mainly in politics. And it has been implemented in 128 countries in the world. This is how African countries have been able to do a step further. This is how all Arabic countries as well have implemented quota. And today we can see even Arabic countries, like
so basically it's the UAE.
Yeah, temporary. It's a temporary measure. Yeah. You do it, maybe you endorse it for 2 or 3 mandates, and then you remove it because people need to see women in position.
Yeah, they get used to the idea that seeing these women are sitting in
absolutely.
and
today, for instance, the UAE they have implemented a 50%. They promised, they endorsed a law to implement a 50% quota in their parliament, which will be, they have 40 seats, so you will have 20 women and 20 men, running the country. And I think this is the fair solution for every country, because women, they have a different vision, different way, different priorities than men.
And the way they approach conflicts is really completely different from it. Now, so I want to ask you about 50-50.
Yeah.
Your most recent NGO, and you are very active, and I'm privileged to be one of your under one of your programs. I read a recent report for UN Women saying that there is not a country in the world that they can claim that they have gender equality and 50-50 across all levels in public and private sector. What do you think? I mean, did you really raise the
the bar?
The bar.
Absolutely, we did it on purpose, and you know that we've been working under the name of Women in Front since 2012. But I think at some point, after the elections, we restructured and we changed the name to 50-50. So 50-50 is a new name. First of all, we included men on board, and we put a target to achieve 50-50.
That's very smart, having men because we need the men. We need the men in our. They have to be with us. They have to support us, because after all, it's going to be for the benefit of the whole community, not only for women. I mean, we don't want to exclude men from the picture. Definitely, we just want them to understand that them and us are, complete the community, and we are partners in this life. So let's act as real partners in this life. So thank you, Joelle, for being here with us. We did give a rather general picture about the situation of women in Lebanon, and hopefully that in our times we will see 50-50 in all levels in the country, in public and private sector. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you.
Thanks to you, Khouloud, and we will work on it until we achieve it.
We will achieve.
So as we have been taught something with Vital Voices. It's when you empower women, you change the world. So I believe in this, and it was experimented. In fact, I experimented in Lebanon, in my country. So I think this is the way we're going.
And we will change.
Absolutely.
Together with people like you and like many other women who are working at this point here in Lebanon, I'm sure that change is inevitable.
Yeah. Thank you.